Now, I have friends of all ages, but the ones I talk to the most, the ones like me, 70 years and older. And one of the things that we talk about the most, we recognize that we're getting older and, we might need a little help. I take that back. It's not that we might need a little help, it's that we will need help. And the major dilemma is this: when we need the help, will somebody be there? Now, that in itself is a scary, scary situation. A lot of people don't talk about this fear straight out. They show it to you, though, in smaller ways first. You see it when somebody says they're fine while struggling to carry something they should have asked for help with. You see it when they take two trips instead of one because they don't want anybody seeing that they can't manage it like they used to. You see it when they move slower, but still refuse to let anybody touch the bag, the box, the groceries, or the cart. And from the outside, it can look like pride, but sometimes, guess what? It's not pride by itself. Sometimes it's practice. Because if I keep doing it alone, maybe I don't have to face what it means if one day I can't. So the behavior starts small. It starts with not asking, not telling, still lifting, still reaching, still proving. And that is where this dilemma begins. Another behavior is that we start editing ourselves. I mean, we don't say my knees are getting weak. We say I'm just moving a little slow today. And we don't say I don't feel safe driving at night anymore. We say I just don't like going out after dark. We don't say I need help with this paperwork. We say I haven't gotten around to it yet. Now listen to what is happening there. The need is real, but the words are softened because sometimes saying the truth out loud makes it feel too official, too final, too close. So we change the language to protect ourselves from the meaning. But the behavior underneath is the same. Delay it, downplay it, rename it. Keep moving. Then there's another behavior that does not get talked about enough. We start paying close attention to who checks on us and who does not, who calls back, who only talks when it's convenient, who says, let me know if you need anything, but never really means it in a way that feels solid. And and when we get older, that question can start getting louder and louder in the background. Not just do people love me, but can I count on them? That that's a different question because love sounds warm, dependability sounds tested, and a person can start replaying relationships in a whole new way once help becomes part of the picture. Not who is kind, not who is friendly, but who shows up. Some people answer this fear with another type of behavior. They prepare quietly. They put important papers in one place. They write down passwords. They keep medicine where it can be found. They clean up the house just enough so if something happens, nobody will walk in and see confusion everywhere. They start organizing, little things, not because they are neat, but because they are thinking ahead. And what is so striking about this behavior is this: it can look practical on the surface, but underneath, there's fear. Not dramatic fear, not loud fear, just that private kind. The kind that says, if I ever need help, I don't want my whole life to fall into somebody else's hands in a mess. Then there's this behavior that might be the saddest of all. Some of us stop asking before we even ask. We think everybody has their own life, everybody is busy. I don't want to hear hesitation in somebody's voice. I don't want to feel unwanted. So instead of asking and maybe being disappointed, we do without. And that changes a person because now the fear is no longer about getting older. Now the fear is about rejection, about finding out the answer to the question you were hoping not to have to test. Will somebody be there? For some people, that question is so heavy, they would rather struggle than to know. So when we, talking about old folks, talk about aging, a lot of times we talk about health. We talk about money. We talk about where somebody might live. But underneath all that, there is a quieter fear. If the day comes when we truly need help, will there be a real person there? Not somebody saying nice words, not somebody meaning well, somebody there. Because needing help is one fear, but needing help and not knowing if you matter enough to be helped, guess what? That's something else. So the dilemma is not just that one day you may need help. The dilemma is that the moment help becomes real, you may be forced to find out who is really with you. And that is why people keep lifting, hiding, delaying, softening, organizing, and staying quiet. Not because we don't know that we're getting older, but because somewhere in the background, we're trying not to find out the answer too soon. Now, if you got a little something from this video, don't forget to subscribe and comment. And guess what? I'll see you with the next video.